Welcome to the Globe Gnosis channel. American music is a captivating tapestry, woven from the rich cultural interactions of Native Americans, European settlers, and African slaves. The melting pot that is America gave birth to an eclectic range of musical genres that continue to influence and shape the nation's popular culture. In this exploration, we delve into the origins and evolution of American music, unearthing the untold stories of legendary artists whose contributions have left an indelible mark on the world of music. Before we dive into the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Roots of American music. Our journey begins with the harmonious convergence of Native American folk music and European folk music in the 1500s. As African slaves arrived in America, they brought with them their own folk music, thus forming the foundation for the diverse musical landscape that was yet to come. African American music. At the forefront of American music's evolution, African Americans introduced the world to work songs and soul-stirring spirituals in the 20th century. Powerful Christian hymns, sung in a call and response style, resonated across America, even captivating white audiences in the late 1800s. The influence of African American music also gave rise to captivating dance music like the cakewalk, which later evolved into the lively ragtime of the early 20th century. Appalachian folk music. Hillbilly music, as Appalachian folk music was sometimes known, emerged as a captivating fusion of American, Irish, and Scottish folk styles. From this wellspring of creativity sprang honky-tonk and bluegrass, early forms of country music that would shape the genre's trajectory. Popular American music. The seeds of American pop music were sown by traveling singers like William Billings in the 1700s. As the 1800s unfolded, ballads, patriotic songs, and spirituals gained prominence alongside the infectious rhythm of the cakewalk. Simultaneously, jazz and blues flourished in cities like Memphis, Chicago, and New Orleans, serving as the true roots of American pop music. The 1930s brought about the swing era, Appalachian honky-tonk music, bluegrass, and country, while the 1940s witnessed the emergence of bebop and more experimental jazz. British invasion in the 1960s introduced the Beatles, The Who, and the Rolling Stones to American audiences, ushering in a new era of rock music. The 1960s also marked a turning point in the political and activist nature of music. Folk/country American music. Appalachian folk music became popular in the 1940s, thanks to groups such as the Almanac Singers and the Weavers. Swing music was also at its peak during this time, with singers such as Bob Wills. In the 1940s, honky-tonk gave way to country music as we know it today. When rockabilly was combined with blues, the genre rockabilly was born, with singers such as Elvis Presley leading the way. People like Elvis also introduced white listeners to what was termed black music. Some parents thought this was terrible, fearing that this race music would corrupt their children. Around 1950, country pop musicians such as Hank Williams and Patsy Cline moved away from rockabilly. Hank Williams and his contemporaries were important for popularizing Nashville as a country music hotspot, which it still is today. In the 1950s, gospel music grew popular, especially when combined with R&B rhythms to make it more danceable. Later, in the 1960s, the lyrics shifted away from spirituals, giving rise to the soul music genre. Aretha Franklin, who began her career in gospel music in the 1950s, was one such musician. Doo-wop influenced the course of soul and R&B music as well. Doo-wop was a smooth and polished style that was popular in the 1950s. Its sound spanned from cheerful and entertaining to ballad style. Frankie Lyman, the first black teen idol, was a doo-wop artist in the 1950s. In the 1960s, the Bakersfield sound evolved to compete with Merle Haggard's Nashville sound. Bluegrass bands such as the Grateful Dead were influenced by it. Classical American music. Classical music originated in Western Europe. Therefore, when Europeans immigrated to the United States, they brought their classical traditions with them. With the rise of globalization around the turn of the 20th century, this became especially pronounced. Some composers in the 1700s followed European models closely, while others established the first New England school, a distinctly American classical style. Many singers contributed to this style by developing sacred singing styles with odd harmonies that amateurs could sing. Anthony Philip Heinrich is one such composer who was largely self-taught, unlike his European colleagues. He composed chamber and orchestral music and toured the United States in the early 1800s. The second New England school, called after its popularity in New England, emerged in the mid to late 19th century. American indigenous music inspired composers such as John Knowles Paine. Paine had a number of famous students, including Amy Beach and Edward MacDowell. These composers studied in Europe yet made their living as teachers, composers, and performers in the United States. Classical music advanced further in the 20th century, thanks to George Gershwin, who was heavily influenced by spirituals, and Leonard Bernstein, who loved jazz. These composers combined classical and popular music styles. Other 20th century composers influenced by folk music included Aaron Copland. Major composers like Stravinsky and Schoenberg, who were not born in the United States, had a tremendous influence on classical music in general and the modernism era. Minimalism became popular in classical music in the 1960s, thanks to musicians such as Philip Glass. Dramatic contrasts, drones and repetitions, and synthesizers were common in this music. The hidden history of American music is a testament to the diversity and creativity that flourished in this melting pot of cultures. From the Native Americans and early settlers to African Americans, Appalachians, and European immigrants, each group contributed to the vibrant mosaic that continues to shape American music today. The legendary artists and their untold stories have left an enduring legacy, making American music an integral part of global cultural heritage. As we conclude this musical odyssey, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more captivating content and enriching stories. Your support ensures that we can continue to bring you in-depth insights into the fascinating world of music and its profound impact on cultures and societies.